Right. So is my voice is clear to everyone? Hope everyone is able to hear my voice, right? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we
done.
can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. So let me share my screen. Yeah. Uh, Hi everyone. Today we are here to discuss about the Power BI training program. So you might be most of the people had got the messages regarding the Power BI. So I got a different audience over there. Some people have some basic understanding about what is Power BI, and we have some audience who are working in non-technical background. So and they want to shift their career into software like IT. So there are some audience who are looking to shift into IT sector from non-IT, and have other set of audience those who are working in some academic as a college as a professor or assistant professor. So they want, due to the sluggish growth in the teaching field, we're working as a lecturer in some engineering and B Pharma colleges. They are also actively looking for a course like software, and they want to shift their career into the software. And we have some freshers. So those who have completed the course in 2024 or 22 or 23, and they are looking for a tool, like they want to enter into the software industry and to the IT sector. They're also looking, so what they want the guidance regarding the Power BI, and they want to know exactly what actually the Power BI is. And we have different people like who are working on different government sector, like preparing for the government examinations, but due to some circumstances, they're not able to crack that examinations. So they're also looking for to shift their career into the Power BI or any software industry. So we have the mixed audience over here. So at the end of this demo, I give the clarifications. I don't enter so much of technical into it because some people might be quite new about the Power BI. So it is first you need to understand you are learning some course, like I am saying this Power BI has a future in the market. First, the thing you need to know what exactly the Power BI is. So what is the use? What are the jobs that you can apply for learning after learning the Power BI? And the third step, is there any future if you learn the Power BI? And is there a demand for the Power BI in the present market? So these are the first things that you keep into the mind. So after completing, just I will give the 2 months of the course, but what is the next step? Like after completing the course, like where there is a demand for this tool in the market, whether I can get the interview so that prove myself. So these are the some type of the questions revolving around your mind. So I will try to answer every question. So regarding this Power BI, so first I will try to give an introduction about what is the Power BI, why you want to learn the Power BI. Then moving to, so why there is a present in the demand in the market for learning the Power BI. So what are the different type of job opportunities are there for the Power BI, and what are the different rules that you apply after learning into the Power BI? And it's not only what are the different fields, it may be healthcare, it may be retail, or it may be finance. In every field that we have opportunities in the Power BI. So I hope the screen is visible to everyone, and let me start the session. Okay, coming to my introduction. So myself, I am Janardhan Patipaka. So I have total 8.5 years of experience into the IT sector. So I have overall the teaching experience of 10 years into the teaching. So regarding the teaching of the software courses, it's been 4 years I've been associated with teaching the different software institutes. And apart before that, I am also from a non-technical background where my technical background is I'm from B Farm, and I did my Farm by MBA from Naipur Mohali. And I have teacher for different courses, like I have guided for the students for group 1, group 2, drug inspector examination, government pharmacist, apart from different like economy, polity, and economics. And apart from the different, like I worked all the way, like where I was worked as a tutor in the ES Pharma education. So it's teaching is a passion for me. So that's how whatever the knowledge that I get from learning the things, I would like to share with the students. So it's been more than 10 years I've been into the teaching. Now this is like where I've given the drug inspector and different courses, and I went for the guest lectures for near Gujarat, Ahmedabad, and different states as well. And I'm the director of Akshara Pharmacy Education, where I train for GPAT and NIPA students. And we have some students over here, those who have listened my lectures before us starting this academy into the software. So I'm also authored few books related to the group one and group two, and which was got a good crunch in the market. Like we are able to save 15,000 copies within the launch of first only 3 months in the which in the 3 months of the launch we are able to sell 50,000 books in the market. Where I started with the Telangana movement book, which was published in the 2017. Okay, this is just my author introduction. Now let us move into the Power BI. Okay. So before learning about this Power BI, what exactly where we can use the Power BI in the market, like actually. So when you look at the present sector in the present industry, every organization is depending upon the data. Now, when you look at when you look at the things now, that due to the presence of the social media in the market, like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, okay, Instagram. So what happened, most of the people's like when you look at this Google Play store, you can find huge mobile app stores, like more than 3.5 million Android apps are available for download. And nowadays, due to the digitalization, the use of the mobile smartphones has rapidly increased. So you can find about more than 5.48 billion mobile phone users in the world. So, as most of the peoples are spending the time upon the internet. So, for every click that you made in the internet, it may be in YouTube or in the Facebook, at the back end, it is generating some data. It's very simple. You are searching for any real estate kind of thing, or if you're searching only any insurance policy, if you give your email ID, and automatically most of the peoples will be somewhere your data is captured, and most of the people calling you. So because whatever the click that you made, you search in the internet, back end it is generating some data. Now after the COVID pandemic came into existence, the spending upon the internet, like the average spending of the internet has been increased. So at the back end, it is generating the lot of data. Now in the particular scenario, now in the present situation, there is lot of amount of the data is there with the companies, with any organization. Now, every organization is looking for a tool which will capture the data, which will analyze the data, and which will represent the data in a meaningful format in the form of graphs or in the form of some pie chart or in the form of the visuals. So, this Power BI is a tool which will capture the data. From the data, it will create some reports, it will create some visuals, and it will share that reports to the client. So that is the Power BI tool. So when you look at, see, in the present situation, the data is generating at a very rocketing speed. Like every second you can see more than 1.7 megabytes of the data. The new information is created every second. But after the COVID pandemic came into situation in the last 2 years, you will see as the lot of digitalizers came into existence. Because in the previous, if you want to take the passport, you need to go in the morning and standing on the lines over there. If you want to book a Tatkal ticket, you need to go at 1 or 2 hours before and standing in the line. But now everything, right from taking a home loan, everything, it's came into your hand. It is due to the rapid digitalization. But everything, my dears, every click that you are making in the internet, it is generating the data. So as per the estimate, it is saying more than 90% of the data, world data was generated in the last 2 years. In every second, 40,000 searches are we are making in the internet. That means there is a lot of industry. Now the industry is flooded with the data, and the organizations are looking, hey, we want a tool that capture this data. From that data, I want to create some beautiful, meaningful insight which will be helpful for organization, my organization to grow. Because see, you can see more than 3.7 billion humans are using the internet, and more than 4 lakhs YouTube every minute, more than lakhs of YouTube videos they are watching. In the Twitter, you can see how rapidly it came into existence. Instagram users. So that means it is clear that the average spending on the internet is increasing. At the back end, it is generating the data. So if you want to see over the 2004 and 2015, that social media was there, but it's not rapid in the market. So the digitalization was not tremendously increased previously, but when the launch of the Facebook, with the launch of YouTube in 2005, with the launch of Twitter in 2016, with the WhatsApp launch of 2009, see how it is deeply penetrate. Out of the people, like more than 28 students are attending this class, this demo, there is you cannot name any person without the WhatsApp. So we are such much addicted to that social media. At everything that you are making, your data is captured at the backend. So Google Pay, Phone Pay users, that means that digitalization has increased rapidly due to the digitalization only where the generation of the data is being increased. So as long as there is a demand, as long as there is data is increasing rapidly, there will be demand for the tool which is efficiently use the data to create some meaningful insights. Okay, this Power BI is a very user friendly tool. A person who is able to operate a smartphone, a person who is have a minimum 10th class student can understand the Power BI, because this tool has launched got very user friendly options. With that, a person who is having minimum common sense can build the visuals from the data which is provided to you. That's why we cannot name any a software course that learning within the 2 months of learning that you can able to give the interview. If you want to learn Java, if you want C++, if you want to learn the clinical SaaS, yes, clinical SaaS, it is also it has a demand in the market. I'm not saying it is not having a demand, but there is some type of technicality is increasing to learn to get the expertise. You need a lot of coding knowledge. It may not be so person from the different science background, a person who is very new, it becomes very already if you have a from engineering background, you have knowledge on C++ or something. So that coding will be easy for you. But a person from the non-technical background, if you want to shift his career, so Power BI might be the right option for them because there will be no coding involved in the Power BI. We have the coding that Microsoft is promoting it as a no coding line. It is low coding or no coding. In that you have in the Power Pivot, I will discuss where you have to learn the coding, where the DAX, a person who is having some knowledge on Excel, it will becomes very easy. But if you don't have that knowledge, it's not a problem because we need start from the scratch and we will write the DAX queries by the scenario based. Okay. Now already I have said, according to estimates, we can say more than 328 millions of terabytes of the data is generating each day. So what is terabyte? Each terabyte is equal to, you can count the number like 1009. That means at every day, there is a tremendous increase in the data. And when you see the global data, how it is generating in a graph, like in 2010, you can see the data was only 1 terabyte because we used to follow a file based system. Everything used to stored in the form of file. But now everything to open the bank account, they used to come to your home. Like you need to give sign on many things, and everything it is a file-based system. But now, when from the 2009, you can see the curve in the 2019. It took a upward surge in the year 2019 because this is a turning point, because where the world has experienced a situation called COVID pandemic. So after that, in the 2019, from 2020, 21, you can see where the data generated, it is a 0 or 1 terabyte. Now by the 2025, it is more than it is almost reaching 190 to 180 terabytes of the data. Yeah. So now it indicates that the data, there is a demand for the data. Okay. So can anyone go on mute, please, Lovik? Yeah. Yeah. There is a demand for the data from after the COVID pandemic, where we can see that or where the demand for the data is growing by 2025, where the data is going to reach about 180 terabytes. That means data is generating day by day. That means this Power BI, we call it. If you ask anyone what is Power BI, they say the Power BI, we call it as a business intelligence tool. Okay, the Power BI, we call it as a business intelligence tool. So in order to understand what is business intelligence, Power BI, you need to understand the what. In the Power BI itself, you have BI, that means business intelligence. So as a new user, as you're learning the Power BI, you need to understand the word called as what exactly BI is. See, this is what is business intelligence. Business intelligence means, see, the process, suppose with the help of some tools or without help of some methods or with the help of some techniques, we will collect the data. So suppose you join in any organization, like suppose Flipkart, you take Amazon. So the every order that you will make, it will be recorded at the back end. So as these transactions will take place at the larger scale, they will store the data in the databases. Now you are attending my demo, like 28 students are attending my demo. Now I will store the data in the form of Excel. Okay. So the business intelligence means with the help of some tools, I will collect the data, I will analyze the data, and I will transform the data. So I will collect the data. Suppose if I want to ask you, like I will roll out some Google form, I will ask you to fill the Google form. So you will fill the data, and after that I will analyze the data, and after that I will transform the data. Transform the data means, because if I ask somebody to give like what is your mobile number, give a phone number, some will type the mobile number as MOB, some will type as phone number. So while analyzing, while transforming the data, I will make the data into unified format. Okay. So business intelligence is, with the help of some tools, we will collect the data, we will analyze the data, and we will transform the data. Why we transform the data means, the organizations will provide the data in the form of unstructured format. They will not follow any, sometimes the data will not be in structured format. So in the Power BI, like this tool, with the help of some Power BI, we will convert that unstructured data into structured data. And from that data, after collecting the data, we will create some meaningful information from the data. How you create the meaningful information? Suppose this is in the business intelligence, I'm using Power BI. With the help of Power BI, I will collect the data and analyze the data, and I will transform the unstructured data into structured data. And after clearing this data, I will create some meaningful and valuable information. How? With the help of some graphs. With this data, with these tools, I will create some graphs, I will create some visuals, and these visuals I will share it to the client, and the client will take some decisions by using that visuals, and he will try to optimize his business, and he will try to improve this business. So this process is called as business intelligence. Simply, business intelligence means, by using somebody, the data will be provided to you when you join in any organization. Suppose you are working for a banking project, the banking project will give the data. It will be, if the data is huge, it will be stored in some SQL Server databases. Now what you will do, you will use that, you will not use methods and techniques, because now Power BI, right, with the help of this Power BI, you will collect the data, you will connect to the data which is given by the client, and after the collecting the data, the second step, you will analyze what is the data given by them. Then if the data is not in a organized, unorganized format, you will transform the data into a synchronous organized manner. And with the help of that data, from that data, you will create some meaningful information. Meaningful information is nothing but some graphs. And you will provide, with the help of some graphs and visuals, you will prepare some reports, build the reports, and you will share that reports to the client. And client will use that reports, use that visuals to improve his business performance. It is very simple. If the person client is giving some 1 lakh rows in Excel and he is showing which product is performing high, but with the help of, you cannot go and write drag the 1 lakh rows, right? So you will connect to the Power BI and you will create some visuals like bar or something, and you will create some meaning information and you will provide to the client. So simply the Power BI is, you have the data. Simply you will connect with the data. From the data, you will create some visuals, you will create some reports. That reports will be provided to the client, and the client will use that visual, that reports, to improve his business performance. This process is called as business intelligence. As Power BI is working, is doing the performing the process of business intelligence. That's why we call it as the Power BI is a business intelligence tool. Now you can understand what are the key components of business intelligence. You have understand what is business intelligence, what actually the different components are there. The first component of business intelligence is data collection. If you join in any organization, first every organization will provide the data. The data, they will call it as data source. The data source may be, they will be stored in SQL, it may be stored in Azure, it may be stored in some Excel, it may be stored in SharePoint, it may be stored in Dataverse, whatever the tool, whatever the databases it will store. It depends upon their organization, they will store the data. In the business intelligence, as a first step, you will collect the data. With the help of Power BI, you will connect the data into Power BI. The first step will be the data collection. In the business intelligence, second one is data processing and data transformation. It is not mandatory that every organization will provide you the structured or cleaned data. Sometimes the data may not be in the organized format. Ready to use data may not be provided. It is your duty as a Power BI developer to convert the data into a meaningful structured format. That process we call, even did that we call it as data processing or data transformation. In the Power BI, you have Power Query, one tool within the Power BI. With the help of that tool, you will try to clean the data. You will try to process the data. The second step we call it as data processing or data transformation. And third one, data analysis. Because I'm saying the data will be provided by the client. How they will provide? They will, most of the organization, they will store the data in the form of tables. In the form of the tables, they provide the data. So you will load the tables into the Power BI and you will perform the data analysis. So if the different tables are there, you try to establish the relationship between the tables. What type of the data is there? Is it related to the insurance, to the finance? And if the data is provided in the tables, how I can establish the relationship between the tables? Those process we call it as data analysis. Now you have collected the data, you have processed the data, you have cleaned the data, you have analyzed the data. Then after analyzing the data, now you will try to create the visuals. You cannot directly correct the data and if you skip these steps, because you will get, if you build the visuals, your visuals will go wrong because you have not do the process the data, you have not transformed that unorganized data into organized data. You have not analyzed the tables, you have not established the relationship between the tables, and if you directly create the visuals, so that visuals will not give the some meaningful insights. So yes, you will collect to the data, you will work on the data, but after collecting the data, after connecting to the databases, you try to process, you try to transform the data. After, you need to analyze that particular data. After analyzing, you will try to create the visuals. This is called data visualization. Now, all the visuals you club together, and from that you will make some beautiful reports. This process, we call it as reporting. And with the help of this data, you can create multiple visuals, okay? Not only one report, you can create the multiple reports. From that multiple reports, you will take one visuals and you will pin it to the dashboard. What is meant by dashboard? Dashboard is nothing but it contains the visuals from different reports. Okay, from different, suppose from the data you created 10 reports. From the 10 reports, you will pick out some visuals, some summary visuals, and you will from that you will create the dashboard. That means dashboard is nothing but it contains the visuals from different report. This will be used by the high level CEO, because if I want to see the business performance of whole organization, we have HR report, you have the finance report, you prepare some of the data, you prepared HR report, finance report, and you have prepared some different reports like data analytics, different department reports. But as a CEO, if you want to see, if just you will see a only summary, like HR depend, what are the headlines, what are the highlights of that HR, what are the highlights of finance. You will pick out some information, the summary page, and you will pin it to the dashboard. So dashboard contains the visuals from the different reports. Okay, this is for a high level information. So these are the key components of business intelligence. This Power BI business intelligence means you will collect the data, you will process the data, you will analyze the data. From the data, you will create the visuals. From the visuals, you create the reports. From the different reports, by using some visuals, you create the dashboard. So this entire process of business intelligence, we can do with the help of Power BI. That's why if you anyone asks what is Power BI, the first one they will say it is a BI tool. And after this demo, if somebody asks about what is business intelligence, you should not say, I don't know. This is the process of business intelligence, why we are learning the Power BI. Now, at the end of this slide, you can show, yes, with the help of, if I enroll this case, with the help of the Power BI, I will collect the data, I will clean the data and analyze the tables. From that, I will create the visuals and reports and dashboard. I will share it to the client. Client will analyze that reports and he will take some business decisions based upon the report provided by the Power BI developer. That is a simple thing. A person who is having the non-technical background can understand this. Now I'm saying like Power BI is called as a business intelligence. If in a single word, if you ask the Power BI, the people may say Power BI is a business intelligence software. But you need to understand some people, when you ask the people who are having some technical background, what is Power BI? Some people are calling it as ETL software. What is meant by ETL software? E means the letter E called we call it as extraction. T means transformation. L stands for load. That means within the Power BI, we have one ETL software. E means extracting, means connecting to the data. Suppose I am storing the data. Suppose at the end of the class, I will roll out the Google form. I will ask you to fill some details. You will try to fill the details. Okay, you will try to fill the details in the Excel. Now I will connect that Excel to my Power BI. So the process of getting the data from Excel into the Power BI, that we call it as extraction. Team transfer transformation. So if I ask for you, like what is your full name? Some people, suppose my name is P. Janardhan Patipaka. I may write in form P dot Janardhan. I may write Janardhan Patipaka. Sometime I write Patipaka Janardhan. I simply write Janardhan. I'm write Janardhan dot P dot Janardhan. So I can write in a different based upon my mood. But if I want to create some visuals, I need to, if you are giving them names in a different format, I will try to transform the data into first name and last name. If last name is not there, I will keep it empty. I will follow some format. Because Ravinder is attending the demo. Somebody is giving full name, first name, and somebody is giving Janardhan.p. Somebody is giving the different. So if I give the pin code, I will try to go pin code number should be P.C. So some will write as pin code P.C. Some write pin code entire name. So it will be unorganized. So in order to create the visuals throughout the cell, I will transform the data, which should be unique, which should be a organized format. So that process we call it as transform. L means load. Yes, after transformation is done, after converting the unstructured data into a structured data, I will load the data. So this process is called as ETL. You have some called as ETL developers, you will see. What the ETL developer will do, if the client is giving some data, they will extract the data. That means connect to the data. They will look at the data and transform the data. If the data is not correct, they will try to transform the data. And after that, they will load the data. This process we call as ETL software. So Power BI, we call it as ETL software because within the Power BI, we have three components. The first component we call it as Power Query that you will be discussing in the coming slides. That Power Query in the within the Power BI, we have three components. First one we call it as Power Query. Second component we call it as Power Pivot. Third component we call it as Power View. With the Power Query, you will make ETL transformation. So in the Power BI, we have Power Query which performs the ETL process. That's why some people are calling it as ETL software. And if you ask someone, some people are calling it as a data analysis software because any organization, see, I'm saying the client is providing the data. How they will provide the data? How they will give the data to you? They will give the data in the form of tables. You will try to analyze the tables. What are the tables we have provided? Suppose there are 2, 3 tables are there. So you need to establish the relationship between the tables. Yeah, I have table 1, table 2, table 3. If I want to establish the relationship, I will see what are the common IDs are there in within the tables. I will try to analyze. Suppose I have the table like tables which are having the employee details or some other table. I will look at whether the employee IDs are there is common for the both the tables. Whether the location product ID is common between the two tables, so that I will try to establish the relationship by analyzing the tables. So with the help of in the Power BI, there is a component called as Power Pivot. With the help of Power Pivot, we will try to establish the relationship between the tables. That's why that means the process of establishing, analyzing the data, establishing the relationship in the tables by building a data model, we call it as data analysis. For doing this data analysis, we have Power Pivot in the Power BI, one component called as Power Pivot. That's why some people are calling it as Power BI is a data analysis software because it has Power Pivot. And if you ask someone, they are calling it as visualization software. Why? With the help of Power BI, the Power BI is nothing but simply they will call it is a visualization tool. Most of the people will say it is a visualization software, Power BI visual, nothing but in the Power BI, we have the Power View. Third component called as Power View. I will show you live how the tool interface looks. In the Power BI, we have Power View. With the help of Power View, you will try to create the visuals. That's why some people are calling it as visualization software. And if somebody asks if you are providing what is Power BI, they are saying it as reporting software. Because from these visuals entirely at the end of the day, what you will prepare, at the end of the day, you will create some reports, right? So that's why the people are calling it as reporting software. Power BI is a reporting software. And entire this ETL, data analysis, visualization, reporting, all this process are coming under the data analytics. So simply they are calling it as data analytics software. The Power BI, ETL, data analysis, visualization, reporting, data analytics these are the components of business intelligence. That's why a single word you can call it as Power BI is a business intelligence software. If they're calling it as ETL software, Power BI, because they're thinking that in Power BI, we have Power Query. With the help of that, we'll try to create, we'll run the ETL process. That's why they are calling it ETL software. In the Power BI, we have Power Pivot. With that, we can build a relationship between the tables. We can analyze the data. That's why they are calling it as data analysis software. With the help of the Power BI, we create the visuals. From the visuals, we create the reports. That's why some people are calling it as visualization software or reporting software. With the help of Power BI, we'll perform data analytics. That's why they are calling it as data analytics software. All these are called as comes under the business intelligence or single word they can call it as Power BI, business intelligence. Power BI is a business intelligence software. Okay, with the help of this Power BI. Now, when you join the classes in the first 10 hours, you will discuss about ETL, Power Query, how to perform ETL process. Next 15 hours, we'll discuss how to analyze the data, Power Pivot. Next 15 hours, we'll discuss Power View, how to try to create these visualizations and reports from Power BI. Directly in the first time, I will not directly create the visuals. First, you need to know how to play with the data, how to convert the data into organized format. You need to know how to establish the relationship between the tables, how to do the data analysis. Then only this, for the final one, the visualization software, it comes under the third section. Okay. Now, if you understand this, you can able to understand the further what about components of the Power BI. Screen is not moving to second. Give me something. Yeah. Now I am saying about visualization. So Power BI, we call it as visuals, right? Why this Power BI has got so much demand in the market? Because everything in the Power BI, we will connect to the data and we will create the visuals from the data. So the thing is, with the help of Power BI, we can more than 50, 100 different types of charts are there. But the only logic as a Power BI developer is, for this data, what is the best visual that I can use for this data so that client can understand very easily. So that logic as a Power BI developer, you need to develop. Okay. If you connect to the data, you can use the bar chart, you can use pie chart, it will get the visual. You can create the donut chart, or you can get the stacked column chart. You will get the data, you will get the visuals. But the only logic that you need to develop as a Power BI developer, for this data, what type of the best visual that I can choose, so that it will be easy for the client to understand. So that is most important thing as a Power BI developer. See, if I provide this in the bar chart, suppose this is the data, and suddenly if I'll ask if someone, so which is having the highest sales, suppose this is sales data, you can say category A. You can ask what are the least sales. You can say it as category E and F, both are having the least sales. If I provide these 7 cells in the form of Excel, it might take a lot of time for you. 7, you need to learn, go and see the values of each this 7 and 8, what are the values in the Excel, and then you can say yes, category A is having highest sales. But if I provide in the form of graph, so it will be easy for a client, or it will be easy for someone, yes, what is it is having the highest sales. Suppose we have different type of regions also. So if I put it in a pie chart, so if somebody asks which region is having highest sales, you can say 45%, this color is North America. You can directly say it is having the North America as the highest sales. Then you can say Europe. So that is the thing, with the help of any data, if you in the Power BI developer, you have the data. From the data, you create the visuals and reports and share it to the client. The only thing, what is the best suited visual for that particular scenario, that you need to develop that logic. Okay. So that is very important. So anybody can drag the visual. You can select any visual, you drag the some tables from that, it will generate the data. But the thing is, what is the best suited visual for that, that you need to develop as a Power BI developer. Now, the thing by you are providing in the form of visuals, it becomes very easy for the client to analyze this information. If I provide this in the form of some table, you need to analyze each and every table. Suppose now here he's having only 6 or 7. It is easy if you provide in the Excel also. What happens if you have 100 cells? In the 100 rows that you need to go and search which is having highest sales, it's a time taking for them. That's why with the help of the Power BI, we'll create the visuals and share it to the clients. Now already said Power BI, we call it as data analytics software, right? So you need to understand what actually I'm saying data analysis. What is data analysis? How the data analysis process will run, that you need to understand. Because it's not directly in the first step, in the first within the demo class itself. I can directly come into the Power BI. I can explain how to download the Power BI, and I can directly explain, yeah, with the help of this data analysis. But each and every word that you need to understand, what is ETL, what is OLTP, what is OLAP, because as a fresher, some type of the people, they are asking about this technical questions. So how you perform the data analysis, what is structured and unstructured data. So if you to understand some basic terminologies about that, and what is the background, how the business is running backside, then it becomes very easy for you, and it will become more interesting once you learn the tools. It's not like just technically drag and drop and creating the visuals we are sharing that report to the client. You need to understand each and every step very clear. See, I am saying about the data analysis. Actually, it is a 5-step process. That means, suppose any organization, I'm saying very small organization or large organizations, they will store the data somewhere, right? If the organization is very huge, like where the millions of transactions, suppose you take Amazon, within how in seconds how many transactions will take place. Flipkart you can take, or you can set suppose any online shopping which is very famous. So there are millions of transactions will take place every day, and they will store the data in some data sources. Okay. If I am storing my I am storing it is very only few members might be attending. If some 50 or 20 students will join, I will not store it in the database, create a database and store there. I can store it in very simple Excel. Okay, because my data size is very less. Suppose I have a multiple branches, like I'm operating at the pan India level. So suppose I'm having like Sri Chaitanya or anything. So I will try to store my data in the databases. Okay. So first you need to understand what is OLTP. OLTP means the place where the companies store the business informations. We call it as OLTP. So suppose the organizations like Excel, see the organizations like smaller organizations will store the data in the Excel, and the larger organizations will store the data in the SQL server. So the place where the company store the data, we call it as OLTP. Okay, the place where the companies will store the data in the database, that database we call it as OLTP. So sometimes what happens in the OLTP, the data may not be the organized format. Okay, the data may not be in the organized format. In this data, in this databases, we will try to implement the ETL process. That means if the data is unstructured format, you will apply the ETL process. That means you will connect, extract the data, you will transform the data, you will convert this unstructured data into structured data by applying some ETL transformation. So by applying on the ETL transformation OLTP, after applying the ETL transformation, we call that database, we call it as OLAP databases. OLAP databases means this database which contain the structured data. Okay. Here, this OLTP database will not, data may be not in an organized format. Sometimes the data may be unstructured or unorganized format. We will run the ETL process on that, and we will convert that. We will convert into OLAP databases. And for this, with the OLTP data, OLAP database only, you will try to connect with these OLAP databases and will try to create the reports. We'll try to create the reports. Okay, what these reports will contains? These reports will contain some actionable informations. What is meant by actionable information? With the help of the reports, when you share the reports to the client, he will take some actions and business actions. That's why we call it as actionable. It contains the actionable information means with the help of the reports, the client will analyze his business and he will take some business decision. Okay. And after creating the reports, he will share the report to the clients. See, OLAP database contain unstructured format. You will convert, apply ETL transformation. That means you will clean the data. We call it as OLAP databases. You will connect the OLAP databases. From that, you will create the reports, and you will, after creating the reports, you will share the report to the clients. Client will use these reports to analyze his business, whether he want to extend his business, whether he want to concentrate on particular products, whether he want to uh, backstep his business, or whether I want to go for the diversification. He will take that process. And one more thing, it is never recommended to create the report directly on OLTP databases. Why? Because this OLTP data, if you directly connect to this OLTP databases, it contains unstructured data. That's why you should not directly connect to this OLTP database and you create the report. Okay, you need to connect to the OLAP database and you need to create the reports. And to move the data from OLTP to OLAP, okay, you will need we need ETL software. That means which will clean the data. Online transactional process, online analytical process. So this is called as OLAP databases. Okay. Now this entire step we call it as data analysis process. Okay, where it includes ETL process, where from where create the report, where you share the reports. This is a step that you need to understand as a Power BI developer. Now, most of the times I'm saying it contains unstructured data, this contains structured data. First, you need to understand what is the difference between structured and unstructured data. What happens? What happens if you create the visuals with unstructured data? What, how does it impact the client? Without applying the ETL transformation, you directly connect to the this databases like OLTP database. If directly create the reports without doing ETL, what happens actually? It is never recommended to create the report on this unstructured data. You can see, suppose I'm saying this as a unstructured data. What is this country sales information is there? United States. See, if I want to store the United States sales is 100. Some people will store the United States as US. Some will store as USA. Some will store as U.S.A. Some will store as United States of America. If is data of UK, United Kingdom, UK. So that is different. Like as a Power BI developer, United States, US, USA, U.S.A., United States of America, it is only one. But if you connect this data to the Power BI and if you build the visuals, you will get the visual in this format. It will think that United States as one country, USA as a one country, UK as US as one country, United States as a one country, and it will create a for every country it will create some visuals. But all this 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, you will add this. This is only of United country of single belong to United States. But while storing, you would store this data and you create the visuals. And Power BI is thinking that this every row it is as a separate country and it is creating the visuals. And if you provide this type of information and create the report, if you create from this also report will be generated, visuals will be generated. But if you show this type of information to the client and the client will go panic. Now, what is your duty? Now you need to apply ETL. Yes, United States, US, this is the same actual United States. And you need to replace all this to the United States. Okay, one country. And you have United Kingdom, UK also United Kingdom. You have transformed the data. And this is the structured data. That means for all the country, United States, you are giving as United States. For UK, you are creating as United Kingdom. Or simply you can give for all USA, you can give all United States USA. For all UK, United Kingdom, you can give UK. That is also fine. But this is the structured format. Now you converted this data into structured format and you created the visuals. This is the right information. See, United States means it is adding the sales of all the sales of the United States. 100 plus 200, 300 plus 400, 500, you will get 1500. UK 100 plus 200, 300. So this is the perfect information. Now this is a manual. So this only 7, I did it manually. But in the real time, you have some lakhs of records, millions of records. In that scenario, what you will do? In that scenario, you have the Power Query tool that will useful for running the ETL process in the Power BI. So in the first 10 hours of the classes, you will discuss about the Power Query itself. So this is the simple example I have given to understand what is the importance of structured data. So Power BI, some people are saying blindly they will create the visuals. But my dears, keep in mind whether that visuals that you create, are you creating it from a right data? Are you creating that visual from a meaningful data? Are you creating that data, that visuals from a structured data without any errors? That is very important. So as a Power BI developer, first you need to clean your data, by using the Power Query. So this is the difference between structured and unstructured data. Now, data analytics in the Power BI. See, this is I am saying what is Power BI. Power BI is called as a collection of the software have set. Okay. In the Power BI, when you take the entire Power BI tool, this Power BI 90% or 95% after you join as a Power BI developer, what you will do? Simply you will go and download the Power BI desktop software in your system, and you will try to develop the report. So that we call it as Power BI desktop. So why I am saying learning Power BI is easy, because you will install one software called as Power BI desktop. From this Power BI desktop, you will build a visual. That means entire your work, you need to understand only functionality of only one tool. So for understanding a tool which is very user friendly, which is very, the options are very straightforward. So that's why most of the people are shifting their career to the Power BI. And don't think that most of the people will have a fear. Like, I am from a non-technical background, I am from a science background, I am very new to the software, whether I can learn the Power BI. You may be are from engineering background, or you may be from non-technical background, or you don't have any computer knowledge, or if you don't are very new. For them, for learning the Power BI is very easy. It is not like that you need to belong to the technical background, because here 90% the coding is not involved, and it is a low coding or no coding software. And where with by downloading the Power BI desktop, and Power Query will be very easy. Power View, building the visuals will be easy. In the Power Pivot, you will try to build the data model. You will have some formulas regarding the DAX query. If you learn that part very in-depth manner, then understanding the Power BI is very easy. Okay. So the first component, when you look the Power BI, we call it as collection of software. In the Power BI, the first part is Power BI desktop. Okay. This Power BI desktop, they are calling it as developmental software. Why? Reason being, after once you join any company in the as a Power BI developer, first you will download this software called Power BI desktop. And after downloading this Power BI desktop, you will connect to the data which is provided by the client. If the data is Excel, or if the data is stored in SQL Server, if the data is stored in some Oracle databases, you will connect from the databases to the Power BI desktop, and you will be develop the report in the Power BI desktop. That's why this Power BI desktop is called as developmental software, where you will develop your reports. Now, when you look at this Power BI desktop, in the Power BI desktop, that what I have explained you earlier, you have Power Query, you have Power Pivot, you have Power View. So within the 2 months, our courses, of course, will be divided into, first, I will teach you how to do the ETL transformation. ETL transformation means Power Query. In the Power BI desktop, first we'll be discussing about the Power Query. You have connected to the data, right? Whether the data, first you need to clean up your data. You need to transform your data. Suppose the data is present in, your client is provided the data in 10 or 12 tables. He want to append the data into a single table. So with the help of Power Query, you can append all 100 data which is present in 100 Excel sheets into a single Excel sheet. So that is called as transformation, ETL process. Okay. So in the Power BI desktop, first we'll be discussing about the transformation called as Power Query. We'll perform the ETL process. And second, we'll be next 10 or 15 hours of class, we'll be discuss about Power Pivot. I'm saying the client is storing in the data in the different tables, right? We'll try to establish the relationship between the tables, right? We try to establish the relationship between the tables, and we'll try to develop the data model. In the coming class, we'll discuss what is star schema, what is snowflake schema. So those data modeling concept, those analyzing how to establish the relationship between the tables, that we'll be discussing in the Power Pivot. And here also we'll be discussing about some DAX calculation in this part. And after learning about Power Query and Power Pivot, the final step, which is very easy, called as Power View. And this is the major thing. It will play a very important role, because after the data is cleaned, after establishing the relationship, now in the Power BI desktop, you have Power View. With the help of Power View, we will try to create the visuals. We'll try to develop the visuals, we'll to try to create the reports, and you will try to share the reports to the client. That is called as Power BI desktop. In the Power BI desktop, first you do the transformation, you will establish the relationship with the tables, you will develop the reports. That's why the Power BI desktop is called as developmental software. Now you have joined in the company as a Power BI developer. What you will do? First day you will download the Power BI desktop. You do ETL transformation for 5 or 6 days. You will establish the relationship. You develop the report. Now where the report is there? The report is there in your local system, right? Because you have downloaded the Power BI desktop in your local system. Now your client is there somewhere. Now you need to share the report to the client. Okay. Now how you have developed the report by using the Power BI desktop. Now you want to share the report, right? In order to share the reports, there is a one cloud-based server called as Power BI service. It is a cloud-based platform where you can share your report, where you can store your report, where you can share the reports to the client. The cloud-based platform from where you can share the report to the clients, we call it as Power BI service. So in the last 3 or 4 hours of the class at the end, we'll be discussing about 4 or 5 or 6 lectures. We'll be discussing about Power BI service. So entire course will be divided. These three components will be developed, which play the crucial role. We will develop the report. Now here we will try to learn how we can share the report to the clients, how you can access, give the permission to the clients, and how you can automatically refresh your reports, and from how you can schedule the refresh. That means suppose you have developed the report, you have report here, and you will create some schedule refresh. That means your report should automatically refresh in every day 8 times it should be refreshed. Suppose in the 11, for every 8 time you will try to create some schedule refresh, so automatically your report will be refreshed. Okay, so that type of, there are many things, not only this, how to schedule your refresh, how to share the reports, how to give the permissions, how to create the workspace, how to create the project workspace. So those will be learning in the Power BI service. That will be very easy. Okay. Now this is the area, this is called, the entire course will be discussing here Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, and Power BI service. And the next we will be discussing about Power BI. There is a Power BI report server. So what is meant by Power BI report server? So the previously we used to serve the report into the cloud-based platform. There is another on-premises server where we can share the report the clients, but now 99-100% they are using the cloud-based platform, which is Power BI service. But Power BI report server we are not using it. So because this is the on-premises software to share the report to the clients. But now we are not using on-premises service. Everything we are based shifted into the cloud-based platform where you can share this, publish your reports, right? First you develop the report, you need to publish the reports, you will publish in the Power BI service. From there you will share the report to the client. From the Power BI service you will give access to your client where the client will access your report. And Power BI mobile means you have developed the report. If you want to see in the form of a mobile app, you can see it is a mobile app which is used to view your reports. That is called as Power BI mobile. So you have some mobile layout options also there, that we can call it as Power BI mobile. But this Power BI desktop is very crucial, where you will, which is a developmental software, and next a Power BI service where you can publish and share your reports. So this will be the entire scenario. That's why we Power BI, we are calling it as a collection of software. Now first 10 hours of the class 15 we discuss about Power Query only. Then after completing we go to Power Pivot. Then after completing it we go for Power View. Then we will go into Power BI service. So this is the course process, how we can progress after joining this program. Now, what I've discussed in entire 1 hour, everything is represented in this single slide. So if anyone has missed the class, if within this or 2 or 3 minutes, if you're able to understand this architecture, that means you have understand this demo. Okay, everything, this picture will speak everything. See how it will speak, right? Suppose you are a Power BI developer, you got the job. What as a first step, you will develop, you will download the Power BI desktop into your system. This is called as Power BI desktop. After installing Power BI desktop, what you will do? You will connect to the data. So the data, if it is small, I told the data will be stored in some Excel, or data may be stored in SQL Server, data may be stored in the Oracle databases. So from here, you will try to connect the data. Okay, that means you will bring the data which is there in the database, which is there in the Excel. And if you want to create the report, how you can report the report? First, you need to connect to the data, right? So with the help of this Power Query, you will try to connect the data and you will bring the data into the Power BI desktop. In the Power BI desktop, first component is Power Query. We will apply ETL transformation. To perform this ETL process, we have 100 menu-based options, very straightforward menu-based option that I will be studying, will be discussing the further. With the help of some menu-based options, which are very straightforward, you will transform your data. Next, after that, you will move to Power Pivot. What is Power Pivot? In the Power BI desktop only, Power Pivot is there where you try to establish the relationship between the tables, where you try to build the data model. That we call it as Power Pivot. After building the data model, after analyzing the data, we move to the Power View where you try to create the visuals. In the Power View, we have hundreds of visuals. I will show you the software live. As of now, you understand the things. When you, if I show you the Power BI desktop, what is Power Query, Power Pivot, that you can understand more better. In the Power View, we have many visuals are there. With the help of that visuals, you can create the reports and visuals. See, all this will be taking place in the Power BI desktop. This as a Power BI developer. So that's why we call it as developmental software. Now, with the help of you have connected to the data, you have developed the report. Now, the what this report you need to share, right? This data, who provided the data to you? The client will provide the data. Okay, you will connect to the client database or client data, and from that you have made transformation. You have built the relationship. You have created the visuals. Now you need to share that report to the client, right? So in order to share the report, you need to publish somewhere. Okay, how you will publish the report? For publishing the report, you are choosing one cloud-based platform, some Azure-based cloud-based platform that we call it as Power BI service. After publishing this report into cloud-based platform, here from you can give some access and permission to your client. For your client, from there you can share the client report to the client. From here, the client can review your report, and where the client can use the report. And if from here, and after analyzing this report, he can try to take his business decisions. And this is called entire Power BI architecture. So you can publish the report into online based platform. You can publish the report into Power BI report server, which is on premises software, but you are not rightly now, we are not using 0.001%. So don't, this is not the point of discussion now. Everyone, you are using the Power BI service cloud based platform. From there, you will share the client and client will use the report. Okay. See, the data is provided by the client. You are using the client data. From that data, you are creating the visuals, and again, you are sharing the same report to the time. It is just like you are looking at the watch of your client and you are saying this is the time, because the data is provided by him only. From the data, you are creating the visuals, and same visuals you are providing to the data. But you may think that client has the data, whether they can directly create the visuals and report analyze the business, because its importance is to do the business. Okay, you may not have some the technical knowledge to create some visuals. Okay, so that's why they will hire the Power BI developer who has the knowledge to use the connect to this data, from the data to create the visuals by using the Power BI. So here the Power BI role of the Power BI developer will come into the picture, where they collect to the data and share the report to the client, which will be helpful for the client to improve the business performance. And this is called as Power BI architecture. Suppose if our fresher at 2 or 3 years experience, this in the first question, if you understand very basic, you will ask what is a Power BI architecture. Just you need to explain these things to him. Okay. But for the experience, they may not have what is a Power BI architecture. But for the freshers, if I want to apply for intern or something, they may first question they will come to the mind, what is Power BI architecture? Now, same I have represent in the graphical format. Both the slides will speak the same. See, this is a SQL, or where we'll connect to the data sources. From the data sources, we'll connect to the Power BI desktop. See, here we have built the report, and we are the publish the report into Power BI service, and the reports will be shared after publishing the report in the Power BI service. We will share it to the client. Client will access through laptop. He may supply to from his iPhone. He may suit to the desktop. He may use from the laptop, mobile, and he can access the report. Okay, this is called as a process flow of Power BI. Now you are saying about Tableau versus Power BI. This is the thing, right? You may ask a simple question, sir. You are saying about the Power BI. What before Power BI? Because before also there are some tools in the market, right? When you ask this Power BI, it has launched very late in the market. I may say it is launched in 2017. In the 2017, most of the people are not aware. In the 2018 and 2019, this tool picked up like anything. So in the Corona time, when you use for the Power BI developer, if you you have kept the skill set as a Power BI in your resume, daily you used to get some 20 or 30 types of calls as a Power BI, where it was a time where I have learned the Power BI. Because it was a very new tool in the market, which was launched very new in that some 2017 it has launched, but it takes some time to pick up. In the during COVID pandemic, it picked up like anything. So what is before the Power BI? What are the tools which are available in the market for creating the visuals? Yes, you have some different tools like MicroStrategy. You have some tools like ClickSense, and most importantly, you have a tools like Tableau. So these through initially the MicroStrategy was there, that that place was took by the ClickSense, but there is some technicality is involved. So the options are not that much user friendly. Most of the people are transformed into Tableau. Now the Tableau also you can provide some amazing visuals like Power BI only. This Tableau has become a market leader in the BI because more than years, for 15, 20 years, everyone, if the visualization, they created the report by using the Tableau. It was a market leader in the market. But when 2017, the Power BI launched into the market, all the projects are migrated from the Tableau to Power BI because this is a Microsoft product. And slowly the projects are migrating. Now the position of the Tableau was taken by Power BI. Now I'm working on more than we are working in different 70 to 80 migration projects are working, and the clients are saying we want to move our projects from Tableau to the Power BI. That's why in coming scenario, like most of the Tableau developers saying, like we are learn the Tableau, but we are not getting that much calls. Reason being, all the projects are migrated to the Power BI. So that's why the user is demanding now. There is a growing demand for the Power BI developer because all the projects are being migrated. But still, this migration will not work very fast. I am not saying if you learn the Tableau, your position is zero. But some organizations will are rapidly moving to the Power BI. Some organizations, because already 20, 30 years they are depending on Tableau, it will take a lot of time because they are habituated to that. They will be slowly migrating. But in the future, as per the expert opinion, so the power of the Tableau has taken by the Power BI, and now the Power BI has become the market leader in the visualization. So if you want to compete, it's a tough competitor of Tableau. It has some advantages when compared to the Power BI. This tab when compared to the Tableau. So where are the areas where it is outperforming the Tableau that you need to understand? Okay, what are the reasons why it is outperforming the Tableau? Because it is integration of Microsoft ecosystem. Because Power BI can integrate with the other Microsoft products. The Excel, Azure, SQL Server, these are the Microsoft products, right? It can very easily integrate to the Microsoft ecosystem. Now, in the coming days, Microsoft Fabric is coming into the picture. Okay, so that is because it will integrate with the all other Microsoft tools it very easily. So it also integrate with the various data sources. But in the Tableau, in order to integrate that, you need to require some additional configuration to integrate for the Microsoft integration system. So as the it is Microsoft, Power BI is coming under the Microsoft umbrella. So the integration process is very easy with other Microsoft ecosystem. That's why most of the clients are moving towards Power BI. Now, second thing, if you want to purchase some products, both are having the same quality of building the quality report, but with the help of one tool, the cost is incurring is very less. Definitely the persons will be moving to the client will be moving toward that, right? With the Power BI and Tableau, you are able to create the quality reports, but the cost incurred in developing the cost effectiveness is very low. That means with the Power BI, the cost is very low cost, especially by for organization using Microsoft product. That's why due to the cost effectiveness, the persons are moving, like clients are moving from Tableau to Power BI because it tends to have some higher initial cost for Tableau, but it is low cost. That's why the persons are moving, like organization that industry is moving towards the Power BI. Next one, ease of use and learning curve. Ease of use means the options are very straight friendly. A person from the not technical background can perform the ETL transformation. Some option like is like operating like a smartphone. So as it is very user friendly and it will very easy for the client to use that navigate through the options when compared to the Tableau. That's why the position of the Tableau has taken by Power BI. And most important thing is Power BI is outperforming the Tableau. It is due to the Power Query that we'll discuss ETL process like because we have some 100 to 200 menu based options in the Power Query where you can it has a very robust and user friendly where you can perform ETL process is very user friendly, very easy. A person from non-technical background can understand that transformation. That is the major thing where it is outperforming the Tableau. ETL process is very becoming very easy. And next, natural language question and answers, because in the Power BI this ETL process that if you give some you will study like I want a pie chart from sales and region. Instead of building the pattern, just you need to give some language. Automatically, it will create the report and it will give it to you. I want to find the top 5 sales of products by using a bar chart. It will create the bar chart and it will give it to you. So such a natural language dynamic features are available in the Power BI. When it is also there in the Tableau, but it is not as much advanced when compared to the Power BI. That not that much user friendly when compared. It is more user friendly and easy to give the command. That's why the Power BI is taking the place of Tableau. Next one, security and governance. Yes, you have product. Suppose the cost is less, you are going for the Power BI. That is not thing. Cost should be less, user friendly, and also security and governance. That means as a security and governance purpose also it is outperforming the Tableau. Tableau is also having some same strong security features, but requires some additional configuration for maintaining some security and governance. So that's why in that process also the Power BI is outperforming the Tableau. And some real-time data analytics you can perform, and you can perform with Azure integration. So Microsoft Azure is there, right? Microsoft Excel, so it can integrate with the Azure cloud-based platform. So that is the one of the reason. Next, community learning and resources. What is meant by community learning? Suppose in the Power BI, you have a one Power BI community where the some million users will be there. If you have some doubt, you can keep that query in the Power BI community, and most of the people will answer to your question. Suppose you have to work somewhere in writing DAX formula or some transformation. In the Power BI community and learning, in the Power BI community, you will, if you keep that question, so it will be most of the people in the Power BI community, if they will try to reply your reply the answer to your question. So that community is very vigorous, very strong, very active community is there. But same type of community is there in Tableau, but it is not that much vibrant. It is not that much active. We don't have that much customer base that are using that community. So that is the one of the reason it is performing. It is outperforming the Tableau. And the most important, if you ask someone why Power BI is Tableau outbeating the Tableau, I will keep this point as a first point in this slide. The reason, updates and innovation. This is the only first thing where it is outperforming the Tableau. Reason, Power BI is updating month by month. Every month, Microsoft, at least it will add some additional feature in the market, in the tool. So if you go in the Power BI like Microsoft community, what are the features advanced in the last month, February, March, April? At least it will make some visuals or anything in the operation. It will make some advancement in the tool. And it will try to create some innovations in the tool. The reason this type of innovation is there in the Tableau, but not that much regular, that not much vibrant, that much because any tool which will be update very constantly, innovate and update itself, it will be going to survive in the long term in the market. Same way as a candidate, if you join in any organization, if sir, I will learn the Power BI in the 10 years, I will be with the Power BI only means that means you are at the danger zone. Because previously it was MicroStrategy. If you don't learn the Tableau, though, nobody using MicroStrategy, right? Suppose if you are using ClickSense, yeah, I learned the ClickSense. I don't want to migrate like a Tableau or Power BI now. You know ClickSense, but organization, if you try to shift the company, you will not have that much vacancy. Now the person who are learning the Tableau, they are also learning Power BI. Why? Because now the slowly the projects are migrated to the Power BI, right? So most of the things will be same, 95-90% functional. The bar chart and pie chart will not change, but some functionalities, some little bit of changes. A person who are having Tableau, it becomes very easy, dead easy for them to learn Power BI because already they know 90% of the basic. But if you learn the Tableau, sir, I will stick to the Power BI. Yes, you are in the very danger zone because as you need to go how the industry is moving, right? Okay, tomorrow it will come, sir. You are saying the Power BI. You might say that you are creating some hype in the Power BI. In the coming years, if any tool which is something competitor is coming to the Power BI, I suggest you already you have a knowledge. Try to get knowledge on them at least daily 5 or 10 minutes. What are the updates going on? So if you try to learn that, then your position will be secure. In the same way, updates and innovation is not only for the Microsoft as a candidate. You need to develop the habit to update and innovate yourself because if something happens in the future, if you will be ready. And if you learn how that Power BI and Tableau, you are going to Power BI and it'll become easy for you because a company have some Tableau projects and Power BI projects also. If you are having both knowledge, then you can, while shifting, you can ask, you can demand more package to them. Okay. That's why, see, Microsoft Excel, which was used, our fathers, our grandfathers have used the Microsoft Excel. But still, why they are using the Excel? How many versions are came into the Excel? Because they are innovating. They are adding something new to the Excel. 10 years back, if you see the options, now you see you can do some Power Query transformation in the Excels now, Power Pivot, you can try to build the relationship. So much advance came into the Excel because as it is advancement is taking place like Microsoft, it is updating. That's why it is still in the market. There is no competitor for the Excel, right? Every users are for small organization. That's why any tool which update and innovate will have a future in the long market. In the same way, candidate. If I am not saying like if you learn Power BI, you will get now. See, Power BI plus SQL also. You need to learn some SQL basic also. Previously, they asked only Power BI. Now they are asking some SQL basics. Okay, so Power BI to add the SQL, first get the job. And in the future, if you 10 years, if you do only Power BI, so take your time. At least after 2 years, by the 2 or 3 years, I will add my Python to my skill set. Not only in that, the same way, I'm not saying to learn all the tools at a time. If you add the tool to your skill set, so if you have a Power BI knowledge, you have a SQL, you have some understanding of the Python. So if any calls, if you keep the resume, it requires some Python knowledge, then your resume will be get shortlisted. Okay, don't think that if you learn Power BI also, try to in the future after 5 years, if try to see in industry what how the market is movement. Try to keep an eye, not only think like at least 1 year I will learn Python. Azure, if you add something skill set, it will be helpful for you only. You can demand high package and you can be in the software field for longer years. Because if you want to survive for 10 or 15 years, I will learn only Power BI with Power BI only because most of the people are learning, right? I have completed 12 batches students. Like see, in the during the Corona time, they used to ask some very, very basic questions. What are the components of Power BI? What is OLAP databases? They ask him. Now they are asking some scenario based questions. They are asking some real time, some scenario based question because most of the people are learning the Power BI. So that's why we're while learning, learn it very confidently so that if any interview schedule and you need to be in a position to crack the interview in the first 5 or 6 calls. Okay. Now, why to choose the career Power BI career path? And this point already covered at different places in the slide because it is very demand tool in the market. opportunities, because every organization is depending on Power BI, right from very very small organizations. I was very fascinated. I got like 15 days back, I got the two freelancing projects from Sri Chaitanya. I got one, and one Apollo Pharmacy. They are looking for some Power BI for the multi-chain purpose. They want to see operate total India by their business in the form of Power BI report. That means, see, it is went into a such low penetrated level. Not only in the some people are having whether the health, do you have any opportunity in the healthcare? In the Power BI is not a tool that they will use in finance or in the real estate, or it may be finance, or it may be insurance. In every field where the data is required, where they're depending upon the data, they're using the Power BI. Okay, it's we cannot feel that only in the healthcare opportunity we have the demand in the Power BI. Where there is organizations are using the data, they want the data to be represented in the form of visuals, they are hiring the Power BI developer. Okay, no technical knowledge is required. If you are zero knowledge, not a problem, because I will start from zero, thinking that you don't know anything about the Power BI, you don't know what is the definition of the Power BI. We start from very scratch and go to the advanced level. It has cloud integration, I said, like Power BI service, that's why, and career growth is required. And most this Power BI picked up in the market because low coding or no coding. Low coding means in the DAX we have some coding. I am not saying zero coding. That's why they have used cleverly. They have used low coding. That means only 5 to 10% where coding is involved. That is also understandable and user friendly because we have many based options. So that's why it is having the demand in the market. You might have this slide many times. Okay. So Power BI, and I will give the SQL training, which is required for as a Power BI developer, not SQL to the advanced. And if you want to learn the SQL to the base to the advanced, so I will provide the free recordings to the course if you want to get expertise on the SQL also. Okay. So it is like we'll start from basic to advanced, and we'll try to coach you like it is job oriented coaching means if you join in a company, what are the different areas where you face difficulties. So this is a thing where you can stuck the find when they assign real time project you. So in that way that we'll try to train you, and I will give the internet interview guidance, and I will conduct the mock interviews. So after conducting the mock interviews, and I will share the recordings to your personal WhatsApp after giving some feedbacks so that you can improve in the next interview. Suppose in the batch 5 or 10 students will join, so only best interviewer of that section, like suppose I will be planning the mock interviews for 4 sections: Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, and Power BI service. Only the best performance will be shared in the group, and remaining I will record and I will share it to the your personal WhatsApp by giving the suggestions, so that after entering into the real-time interview, at least you will give the 4 interview mock interviews, so that you can face, you will get some idea how to give in the interview. So, okay, we'll provide the interview questions also as well. Okay, some real after completing, we'll do some 1 or 2 dummy projects where how to connect to the data, and a live project will be done. Most of 3 or 4 hours will be doing, will complete the end-to-end execution of the project, and a special focus on the non-technical students, because at this technical or you're non-technical, I am least bothered about that, because we'll start from the zero basic and move to very advanced level. So for every after that recording will be provided to you. I will share the recording, and apart from that, we'll provide the soft copy material, and what are the data sources that I am using. Entire data source of Excel will be provided to you, and free learning material also provided once you register your course. So this will be the training you can have. See now Power BI Copilot. This one slide. Now Power BI Copilot is came into the picture. It is like a smart assistant. So you will give some natural query language that you will ask a question in the plain language. It will understand the requirement and it will create the visuals for you. So it understand what you ask in a plain language and create the charts, reports, and find insights for you. So that way it will save a lot of time. See, suppose you will ask create. It will helps you to create the report easily. Suppose you ask show me a sales of last 6 months and get a chart. So it will connect to the data. After connecting the data, if you ask a simple question, last 6 months it will analyze and it will give the sales of last 6 months, and it will give that graph to you just by typing the in a plain language. You can ask the question in a plain language. What was the, you have the last year, you have many products, you have a question, what is the best selling products in a year? So it will search total data and it will give you the in the output what is the best selling product. So this type of innovation is taking place in the Power BI. That means in the Power BI, the co-pilot, they are asking whether you are able to understand, because it will analyze your data. Insights means, suppose you connected your data having the different sales, it will analyze if the sales at the particular is suddenly dipped. So it will highlight, Copilot highlight that sudden sales, whether it is increase or decrease in the particular sales, and it will give the insights for you. Okay, suppose your data is unclean, your data is not in a fixed format, it will fix the date format. How we will follow the date format? Month, year, suppose DD, First you will store date, then month, then year. So if you want to fix the of entire thing, you fix want to date in that format. Or if your data contains duplicates, you want to remove the duplicate. Just you can ask the co-pilot and give some commands in the plain language, and it will give the uh, output according to you. And quick insights means it will directly create the insights for you. That's why this Power BI, we call it a Power BI co-pilot. It's like a smart assistant. You give the commands, that means you will type a text and it will give you the output in the form of visuals. Okay, now Microsoft Fabric. Now we are integrating. Why I'm saying it is innovating, like with the Power BI, it is integrated through Azure, Synapse, and that means it is a single platform. Okay, it allows you to collect the data, store the data, analyze the data, visual the data. So this is Microsoft, what we call it as it is a data platform that brings together all the tools needed for the data management. That's why the future is coming going to be Fabric. Okay, because it is combines all tools like Power BI, Azure, etc. So if you want to learn the Power BI, try to learn, try to upskill in the Fabric, then your future is going to be very secure. Because I also started learning the Fabric at the end of the course. So in the next process of the months, I'm also ready to start the Fabric. So if you learn Power BI, SQL, and Fabric to your portfolio, then now future is going to Copilot, Power BI Copilot, and Fabric. This will be very easy. Then your future will be secure, because suppose 10 interviews will be calling, you got shortlisted, like you got a call. Then in the resume you see your Power BI, you have Power Copilot, how to use Fabric. Then your resume looks somewhat impressive. The process of schedule, the chance of scheduling the interview will be, it will be get increased. And if you have answer the question related to the Fabric, and if you get an opportunity, because now it is a few Fabric, it is having the moment in the market, and you're able to upskill this itself, so your career will be going to be secure in the coming years. And if you try to jump, while if you jump a company, then you can demand higher packages, because the person with Power BI with Fabric experience are very less. Scarcity is there right now, and this is the right time for you person to understand the Fabrics as well. So these are some reports that I will, how to download the Power BI desktop. Just will I will be discussing in the next coming year. So how, suppose if you see the Power BI desktop, how to, this is the Power BI desktop. If you have a Microsoft, already have installed the Power BI desktop, and tomorrow I will explain you in the first class how to install the Power BI desktop. Just I want to show the interface. So if you install the Power BI desktop, you can download it from Google, or if you have the Microsoft account store, then you click on Microsoft Store. Suppose if our Microsoft Store is there, you need to click on Microsoft Store. Okay. Here you can type as Power BI desktop. See Power BI desktop. You can click here. So already I have installed. It is showing as open. So if the Microsoft Store is there in the system, if it is not there, so it will create as it will click. It will show you as a download. Okay. Now you can click, once you click on this open, the Power BI desktop will be open to you. Okay, I'm clicking on open. See, this is the Power BI desktop. Just before opening the tool, it will show blank report. See, I'm saying about Power BI desktop. We'll be discussing the previous slide, like Power. This is the tool. Okay, this is the tool you will learn. So I told how to get the data, right? Suppose this is the tool, I want to bring some Excel. So how I can bring the Excel? See here, there is one options. I'll get data here, Excel. You can connect to data or SQL Server or anything. So if I want to connect to Excel, I need to click on this Excel workbook. That's it. So I want to collect the data from, suppose that Excel it is stored in some downloads, right? Of some file I'm stored in the downloads. Okay. In the downloads, I want to collect to some samples, any data. Okay. Okay, suppose it is taking some time because I have opened a lot of files over here. As we are running short of time, I will explain you in the next class. Straight away, we will go to the technical things. But as of now, it becomes, it becomes to be overburden to you if I explain that point of time. But in the first class, I will explain you in the coming in the next class, we'll directly start the batch. And the batch timing will be the class timing I will post over here in the chat box. Yeah, you will be having weekday and weekend batches. Weekday batch, it is from Monday to Friday. It is 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Next weekend batch, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Or mostly I can take it from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. So 6 to 7 a.m. it is from Monday to Friday. That means in a week you will get 5 hours of classes. Here also daily 2.5 hours like Saturday and Sunday. It is weekend means Saturday and Sunday. You will also get 5 hours. So person who's enrolling from the Monday to Friday, if you're able to miss some class over here, they can attend the class in weekend also. They can reshuffle. But as of my thing, like try to stick any one batch so that it will be easy for you to follow. It is my suggestion. But if you miss the class in the weekend, you can ping me and I can add in this batch also. Both, because both will be going at the same pace, weekend and weekend 6 to 7 a.m. This will be course will be coming under 45 hours. This will be also 45 hours. The reason I'm creating early because in the 7, 8 to 9, most of my students are employees. If I keep 8 to 9, they're busy with their company in the morning. They have most of them are logging at 9 o'clock, and 7 to 9, some people are family member. They are kids are having the school, so they are mostly as per the suggestions for the students. 6 to 7 is the most appropriate time where I have learned the previous continue the previous batches, and weekend also 7 to 9:30. So it is up to you whether you want to join with any of the batches, and class will start from tomorrow. Right from tomorrow. And one more thing, if you are interested, please ping me in the WhatsApp, or you have my number so that you can coordinate with me. And I also share one my Google form so that yeah, you can directly in the teams that you can provide your numbers if you are interested, so that I can follow up you for your admission. So that just you drop your mail from here, and we have the WhatsApp group, right? In that WhatsApp group, I will share the you can share your details me to personally, so that I can follow up with you. Now I will stop the recording, and please feel free if you have any doubts. Now dice is open for you.